This is the first in a series of video reviews that I'm producing in a compensated fashion, my compensation being a free unit in exchange for my review off of Amazon by the vendor. This is called the Evergreen Home Induction Cooktop. It's essentially a standalone heater burner surface similar to what you would have on a full ceramic glass topped electric stove. So this is to be the unboxing experience, but unfortunately, because I was dumb enough not to hit the record button, the box is empty and I've already taken it out of the box. It was pretty straightforward. Some plastic wrap, a couple of pieces of styrofoam to shim it up and hold it in place. It's very straightforward. Has a very substantial electric power cord, about 3 feet in length or 1 meter or so in length for those of you in the metric system. The device is pretty straightforward. It looks just like a single burner stove top with all of the requisite touch enabled controls on the top with a timer, a warming setting, a power on, power level, an on-off button, temperature settings with up and down, and a lock feature. The backside has nothing exotic other than a good-sized cooling fan, 4 corners surface supports. They are not a non-skid fashion, which I frankly would like to have seen a little bit of rubber in here in place of plastic to hold this in place on the countertop. Under this little access cover, I'm not going to bother taking it off again. Well, there we go, I did. It was easy enough to do it the second time. It's a simple little access port of some sort. I've not bothered reading the manual yet, so I have absolutely no idea what its purpose is. I'll do that I'll comment on that in a subsequent video. Speaking of the manual, it's very well done, very clear, nice sized fonts, a very good table of contents, as you can see here. Cautions and safeguards, of course, the basic principles of how this device works. There are certain types of cookware that will not work on this. There's a process that is explained in a little bit more detail later on as I get into actual operation, and how to configure it, operate it, care and maintenance, a troubleshooting guide, the obligatory warnings, don't be stupid kind of stuff, and of course a commonly asked questions section. All in all, just looking briefly through this, the grammar is excellent. The fonts are very clear. They're a large typeface, so they're very, very good. I would say these are superb compared to the majority of stuff that you see in systems similar to this. So tune in for the next one and I'll show you the process of actually turning it on and setting it up and actually using it for the first time. This video series of evaluations on the Evergreen Home Induction Cooktop Model A58. Probably the single most important thing you'll need to figure out for yourself before making a purchase is to make sure you have cookware that you can actually use on this device. This uses electromagnetic induction from the cooktop up into the bottom of your cookware, essentially inducing a magnetic field into that cookware, which stimulates the electrons in the cookware and generates heat. So to help you to figure out whether your materials will work or not, or your pots will work or not, for sure, they include a little magnetic strip that you can use to test your devices. Very simply, if it's not iron or stainless steel, you won't be able to use it. In my case, the only pot that I have in my house that will in fact qualify for this is my good old-fashioned low cast iron skillet. Everything else in my house is all aluminum. I have no stainless steel cookware. So if you don't have the appropriate cookware, or you're not prepared to buy it, this device is not for you. The other item to be aware of as well, now my pot is about 10 inches across the bottom of the cook surface itself, and it is recommended that you use cookware in the roughly 5 to approximately 8-inch diameter. These circles indicate roughly the 5-inch diameter, and the larger outer circle, the 8-inch circle. So 5 to 8 inches in diameter cast iron or stainless steel, and you should be good to go. And even as I was saying that, I just remembered that I indeed have one other handy dandy little cast iron device. This is my little quick and dirty omelet cooker, and it happens to be rated about that 5-inch area. So there you go. I just realized I now have two devices that I can use instead of one. So that's cool. So be prepared, otherwise you're likely to be bitterly disappointed, or you'll be in the market for new cookware once you get the device. So next video, I'm going to actually plug this in, go through the overview of the controls, and just actually light this candle and put some heat into my cast iron skillet. And while we're talking about selecting the proper cookware, there is a built-in safety feature in here in the event that you don't have the proper shape surface on your cookware. For example, if you do not have a flat bottom surface with a minimum bottom diameter of 4 to 6 inches, which would be, oh, look at that, I've still got my little magnetic strip here. If you don't have at least a 4 to 6 inch minimum surface and flat as you see here, then the display that you'll see momentarily over here will flash an error code E0. That is a safety mechanism, built-in safety mechanism, that if your cookware does not have that flat bottom surface and is at least a minimum diameter of in the 4 to 6 inch range, you'll have a problem and the cookware won't work. Let's go ahead and get this device plugged in and watch what happens. We get a beep. All of the displays have a momentary red indicator to show you that they're all active. And at this point, the device is ready to go. We are now in what's known as the standby mode. So at this point, it's time to begin to get a piece of proper cookware. And I'm going to use my handy little, tiny little 4-inch or 5-inch skillet. I've put a little bit of water in there as well, so when we actually light this thing up, we can see how long it takes for it to get hot. So at this point, we want to now press on the on-off button, and there's a notation in the instructions that tell you that some cookware will automatically start to heat up immediately as soon as you press the on-off button, and sometimes it will simply show on, and the function will then start to work. So we press it on, you can see that it's turned on. If you listen carefully, you can hear the fan. And of course, to turn all of this off, we simply press the off button again. The device goes back into that momentary standby mode. The fan is continuing to run. We also have a lock feature here. When we lock it, once we've activated some features and turned on a timer and got this heat being generated, this can lock it in place so that it doesn't get disrupted and so forth. There's also a timer, so I can set a specific amount of time that I want this device to work. I can set different power levels. I have a warming level and I have a main power level over here. And depending on which one of these options I use, on the power level side, there are a total of 15 levels, anywhere from 200 to 1800 watts. In the warming mode, in the temperature, setting the temperature level rather, using this feature here, in the temperature mode, when setting this, I can set 15 different temperature levels in total, ranging from 140 degrees Fahrenheit up to 460 degrees Fahrenheit. So armed with that, let's see if we can actually get this thing going and see if we can warm up some water. So I will first turn this device on. And now I will select the power, and I can now bring up the power. You notice that it defaults to the full power level, which is 1800 watts. I can press the temperature key until the temperature lights up. And you notice that I'm heating water already. And I can also press the temperature button to set that to 460 degrees default, etc. And then I can use my power level to adjust it here. As you notice, I'm turning it down and so forth. And I'm now down to 140, and you notice that the rate of boil has slowed down. But you will also have noticed, if you were paying close attention, it didn't take long in the maximum power level, 1800 watts, to bring that water to a boil. So clearly this job does exactly what it says on the tin. It can heat quite nicely and quite efficiently when you're using the right kind of cookware. I hope this produces some information that's of help to you. And any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comment section below if you're looking at my Amazon review. And I'm sure that either I or more than likely the manufacturer, Evergreen, who will be monitoring this series of videos, will be able to respond for you. I would assume that to be the case. And again, I want to make this very clear that this is in fact a compensated review. I was given this device at no cost in return for my personal review of the device. So, and I get to keep it. So I've got 2 frying pans that I can use on it, which is handy, and hopefully you'll have a little bit better luck than I, as opposed to having all aluminum or other non-ferrous cookware. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and happy cooking.